Greetings and salutations, young true believers of San Jose State University. So this week, we'll talk about Stephanie Patridge and her work. Is it only a game? The ethics of video game play. So this is a really provocative piece, and once again, this is a work that's going to allow us to see the interstices, that is to say, the intersection of ethics and aesthetics, morality and aesthetics. And Patridge points out, initially right at the beginning of the article, that it's strange that video games these days, in the past 10, 15 years, so prominently feature acts that are unqualifiedly immoral. Now, it was always the case that you had video games, when I was a kid, you had stuff like 1945 and Commando and Russian Attack that featured, you killed people in those games. They were military games. So they weren't first shooter kind of games. It wasn't, anything like that, but still you killed people. But you didn't have games like Grand Theft Auto or the one that she mentions, Custer's Revenge, where where scenes of sexual misconduct, sexual exploitation, and outright rape are common. And Patridge wants to ask, what is it the case that when someone engages a game like this, they're playing a game like that, are they just playing a game? Is it mere, just fun, right? Or is it the case that this is an instance of what she calls representational wrong? That sure, no one is actually, no physical human being is being harmed on the screen, but there could be a different kind of damage going on here. That if you're playing, in other words, if you're playing a game in which you inflict sexual violence on a character within the game, right? What does that say about your personality, right? She notes, for example, we wouldn't laud you as a hero if you killed a bunch of extraterrestrials in a, something like Invaders from Mars kind of game, right? We wouldn't say you're a hero, but we wouldn't say you were despicable either. But there are some things, right, that just presumably they reinforce a very negative, a very unfortunate aspect of the reality on the ground in our society. She mentions the example of what if there were a video game that showed former President Obama eating a watermelon? We all would understand what that imagery was supposed to signify, right? It's an unfortunate reminder of America's, constant battle with issues of race and trying to get to, see a society develop in which we leave racial discrimination in the past. Be it a video game in which the former president is eating a watermelon would be a reminder we got a lot of work to do. So why then isn't there more of an outrage when we see video games that outright encourage rape? It seems like this is something, we shouldn't tolerate in a game. I mean, it's difficult enough when you see such things in a film, but sometimes it can be argued, look, violence is necessary to further the story arc in a film or a novel. But in that instance, you're simply observing, you're not participating. Whereas with the video game depiction of such an act, you're somehow engaging, and even again at a distance, you're not harming anyone, but you have to wonder what you're doing to your psyche, right? What does it say about the person who doesn't bat an eye at playing such a game? Oh, one last thing. I was thinking we can do a review session for the final Friday. So when you post, make a note in your comments whether or not you'll be available for a Friday, May 8th review session.